Déjà vu is your soul re-remembering that you scripted this to play out. We've played many different roles with many of our soulmates in thousands of lifetimes.
How do we know when a soul contract's complete?
A soul contract feels complete when...
Have you ever felt an unexplained pull toward a person, a place, or a direction in your life? Like you were always meant to be there? Or maybe you wondered why certain people come in to shake everything up and then just leave. That's your soul contract at work. In this episode, I'm joined by my very dear friend and psychic medium, Rebecca Rosen, and we're channeling guidance from spirit on your soul's blueprint, the prearranged agreements you made before you were born, and why certain people and experiences are showing up in your life right now. The messages that come through will help you understand what your soul is here to learn and how to fulfill it. Rebecca Rosen, my sister, my friend, welcome to Dear Guides.
So happy to be here.
So happy you're here.
So much fun.
This is where I come with my beautiful friends who are psychic mediums. We come together to channel our guides, the collective guides, to give you guidance on the questions that you've been asking. And today we're talking about soul contracts. Soul contracts is a big one. We saw a lot of people looking for answers on soul contracts.
Yeah.
At the end, after we channel, I'm going to have you lead everybody in a meditation to remember their own soul contract.
Fabulous.
Rebecca, what is a soul contract and why is it important right now?
People are waking up and they're starting to remember, becoming more conscious and aware that there's more to life and that their soul has a purpose. And that is part of us moving from kind of the old earth into the new earth, the 3D into the 5D, as we often hear about. And so with that, you know, we all have a loose blueprint or a soul contract, a plan that we created ourselves with the help of our team and spirit. So before we're born, we set up a handful of important lessons and what I like to refer to as homework that we are here to accomplish in Earth School. And everybody has homework. Like if you're alive, you're enrolled in school. And so, you know, for some of us, we're aware. We know what that is. And for a lot of people, I think right now they're confused. Yeah. They're lost. And so it's really exciting to be able to empower people and show people how to get in touch with their soul contract.
I often say, Rebecca, that the world is our classroom and people are our assignments. And when we show up to these different moments in our life, we can sometimes feel this sense of, have I done this before? Like, why does this feel so familiar? Or why does it feel like this relationship style is haunting me, right? Or you meet someone and you're like, we've met before, but you haven't, and you feel that sensation. Before we bring in the guides, I just want to hear what's happening there.
Oh, I love this because, you know, déjà vu.
What is déjà vu?
Déjà vu is a perfect example of it's your soul re-remembering, okay, or reminding the human part of you that this is all part of the plan, that you scripted this to potentially play out, right? And I say potentially because we all have free will. Yeah. So that's why it's a loose blueprint, but certain things are inevitable and it's called karma.
What is karma, Rebecca?
We have karma in relationships. We have karma with situations that we came in to heal and balance. Yeah. And so it's your soul saying, pay attention. And so it feels familiar. The person feels familiar, or the situation, it feels like this has already happened. Because on some level, it has.
Love that. Okay. Lately, I've been actually speaking on behalf of my soul. This is so different for me, but I've been saying things like, I know my soul contracted this, or I recognize that all these difficult experiences in my life were part of my soul contract so that I could be here now, so I could live to tell what healing looks like. Or this is the message that I need to heal in this lifetime. And I've been speaking in that way with a sense of strength and knowing that my soul chose this, the good, the bad, all of the most traumatic events in my life, that my soul chose that. Yeah. That could be really jarring for somebody to think about. Why would a soul choose this?
Right. Well, the soul isn't here necessarily choosing pain, it's choosing growth.
Nice.
Right? And again, in Earth School, like there's lessons and lessons. What my guides keep saying is we can do this the easy way or the hard way, your choice. But it's all about what lens do you want to view this from? Do you want to view it from victim consciousness? This is happening to me, or shift it to an empowered state of this is happening for me, for my soul's highest growth and evolution.
Is this happening to me, or is this happening for me? I love it. We're going to choose. Do I want to be the victim of the world I see, or do I want to grow?
Do I want to grow? And to remember, I signed up for this. I chose this. And I chose it to expand. That's the whole point of the soul, is to bring more light in. And light is awareness. Light is truth. And so my sense for you, when you're saying you find yourself talking from your soul, it's because you're moving up your scale of consciousness.
Yep.
And that is huge growth. That is the whole point of incarnating.
That's so cool. So that's what's happening to me right now.
Yes.
And so if somebody out there is feeling like they are sensing, oh, this has a higher purpose, or I'm so glad I went through that because I'm here now, and it feels like there wasn't an accident.
Exactly.
That's when you know that you're really listening to your
know.
soul contract.
And it's when you can reframe things and bless the mess, is what I say. Bless it all. This too is from the light. Okay? Everything, every person, every hardship, every challenge, every setback, reframe it. And
Bless the
just
mess.
see it as, you know what, this is a gift. Thank you, Divine Spirit, for showing me what I need to learn to heal and grow. How do I evolve from this situation?
So Rebecca, let's bring in the guides and let's invite the energy of your guides, my guides, the collective guides into this conversation. I know that they're always with you. You can move in and out. Is that right? Sort of in your day, you can choose to turn it on.
I can move in and out, but quite honestly, I'm mostly in all the time.
Yeah, you really are. Last night we were having dinner and you were just like, and this and that. Yeah.
It blends. It all becomes one, you know, and we don't have to turn it on or off.
Yeah.
You can turn it up or down.
Yeah.
You know, and there's appropriate times to really dial in and go into it and read it and share it. And other times, you know, good boundaries.
That's right.
Yeah.
I've actually started noticing that for myself, that it's sort of just there. It's not like I have to turn it on or off.
It's always there.
And also sometimes I just start spontaneously channeling and I have to decide, am I going to share that or I'm not going to share that? But the more that I open up and the more that I develop that connection, it's just sort of more fluid in my life.
Exactly.
And it's also not really in the sense of telling people this is your future or this is something that happened. It's more about here's higher wisdom that I'm bringing here.
You know, it's using discernment.
Yes.
And is this coming from shadow or light? Because there's different frequencies. And so we just want to go into our day. You know, I always ask Divine Spirit, use me as a channel for good. Help me bring through whatever's in this person's highest truth, highest healing, and highest good.
Beautiful. So let's do that now. Let's bring it in.
And so with that intention, we are calling in Divine Spirit, all of our teams in spirit, any and all higher beings of light who are present with us now to bring through whatever is in our highest good, highest healing, and highest truth, and anyone who is tuning into this now. We open to receive, we thank you, and so it is.
And so it is. So Rebecca, if we keep attracting the same type of person into our life and guides, everyone that's in the room now, if we keep attracting the same kind of person into our life, is that part of our soul contract?
That is 100% part of it, because karma repeats itself. Karma shows up in patterns that we keep experiencing. A lot of times we could liken it to Groundhog's Day. Oh my gosh, why am I going through this again? You go through it until you've learned the lesson and you've integrated it. Okay? We have to integrate it in order to transform and evolve from it. And so that takes, you know, consciousness, awareness, and a willingness to look at whatever that is there to teach you. And it can be very humbling sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. When it keeps coming up, it can be very humbling.
Right. But that's really exciting because you're not a victim.
Yeah.
Right? That's when you realize, okay, I have the power to rise from this. Again, see the gifts, see the silver lining. What is this here to teach me? Not why is this happening to me?
That's the message I think that's going to come through the most for everybody, to look at the situations in your life where the thing keeps coming up, keeps showing up, the relationship issue, the
Yes.
dynamic, the pattern, and asking, what can I learn from this? How can I
Yes.
grow from this, rather than why this? That's
Exactly.
huge. It's huge.
It's huge because you recognize, okay, I am so over this lesson. Maybe it's a relationship issue, or maybe it's a self-worth issue. Whatever it is, you will be forced to look at it and deal with it. And
That happened to me yesterday.
Really?
That happened to me yesterday. I was literally saying out loud, I am so done with this core belief in this pattern, which has been probably my through line for 46 years. I'm so done with this. And then what happened? It was brought right in front of my face in the most ugly, shameful, difficult situation that I had to show up for, and show up for with grace and apology, and owning my side of the street, and walking away feeling like I hit bottom. And it wasn't, when we say I'm done with this pattern, or I'm ready to heal this soul contract, it might not be fun and easy.
it rarely is.
Rarely is.
It rarely is. But if you see it as an opportunity to expand, to elevate, to ascend into your more authentic self.
Yeah.
Right? Because truly, that's what we're here to do, is to be, just be you.
Yes.
The most authentic version of you.
So sometimes I have this vision, and you've written about this, but we're right in the sitting at the table with our guides before we enter this world, and we're sitting at, however we see it, it's our forum, it's our council, and we're holding this playbook of our life in front of us, and I feel like we're sitting there and we're saying, I'm ready to do that, I'm ready to do that, I'm ready to do that, as part of our soul's journey. And then boom, we enter into the world that's going to create all the obstacles that are going to give us the assignments to fulfill that soul journey for the lifetime. How would you and your guides interpret that?
What I'm hearing to say is that our soul knows this is all one big illusion on some level.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very temporary experience. And so sometimes we're overly ambitious, and our soul knows we can handle it. And sometimes we come back in to body and we disconnect.
Yeah.
And so we go into our ego, our human self. And so life can feel very overwhelming. And we wonder, why would I have chosen this contract? Especially the harder contracts where you're faced with almost the impossible, like losing a child or debilitating illness, okay, or health condition. Like that's a very advanced soul who signs up for something like that. But on a soul level, we know God never gives us more than we can handle. We didn't choose more than we can handle. But it's really about being in alignment with your soul self, okay? Because if we disconnect from source, whatever you want to call God, universe, it's an energy of unconditional, pure love. When we disconnect from that and we're in our human self or our ego self, it can be dark and lonely and confusing and overwhelming. And so the whole goal is to be one with the light, to come back to the God, goddess within you. We all are a spark of the divine. And when we align with that every day, and we remember that we are one with this energy, but we also have this team in spirit, a group of angels and higher ascended masters, sometimes departed loved ones who are there to support us through that process, it gives us the strength, the courage, and the wisdom to accomplish whatever it is those soul lessons are, whatever karma we came here to heal and balance.
The people that are in that place, though, right now, that they're really suffering with the diagnosis, or they have the suicidal ideation, or they're in that breakdown moment, they might be listening to this and being like, screw this. Like, I don't want to have to live this soul choice, or why would I choose this? Or, it may feel hard and overwhelming for that person to accept.
Which makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Because they're in such a place of despair and desperation and darkness.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know my story. My father took his life. My grandmother did. Like, I unfortunately, I know all too well about suicide. And the thing is when we are in such a dark place, we're fragmented. Okay. And what I'm hearing my guides say right now, and this is really important, is that we must call our energy back, call our energy home to ourselves, because we can leave it in all sorts of spaces and places and with other people. And that's where darkness comes in. Okay. And now there are some cases where people are genuinely mentally imbalanced and they need professional help. I'm a big proponent. Like, that's super important.
Well, that's part of God's work. Exactly.
Exactly. Sometimes that is not the case. It's that you are just so fragmented and your energy is, not here in your body. You're not fully embodied. And so you start attracting, whether it's external energies or entities that start impacting our thinking.
How can we spiritually protect ourselves?
Something that's really important that is we always want to say, I'm in agreement with source and only source. I'm in agreement with the light and only the light. And when you do that, all darkness goes away.
That's how we can spiritually protect ourselves.
Yes. I completely have empathy and compassion for people who are in a really dark place. Suicidal ideation, it's real.
Yeah.
And what we have to remember is we're not alone. It only takes inviting in the divine and our team in spirit to help us, show us, guide us, lead us. And sometimes that shows up by a human, an earth angel, who is there to support us through that process. It can show up in a variety of ways, but we have to, because of our free will, we have to remember to invite it in, whether it's conscious or unconscious. Sometimes your soul is inviting it in because your soul self knows you may be down and out, but you are not done. And you still have a fight in you and you still have a purpose. Now, the other thing I do want to touch on is I've worked with so many souls who have crossed over due to suicide. And the common message they bring through is, wow, what I realized is I have to pick up where I left off. Okay, we can't run away from ourselves. Now, sometimes on the other side, we can do it in a more supportive or comfortable environment because there's not contrast like there is in this heavy, dense earth world. It's a lot harder sometimes to do it here, but at the end of the day, we will have to meet up with ourselves and with all of our choices. And that's not to scare anybody. It's just like, it's accountability. We are forced to be accountable and responsible for all of our choices, thoughts, words, and deeds. And that's the karma we're talking about. So whether you're going to do the work here, which is always easier to heal and balance karma in the environment in which it was originally created, than crossing over and trying to do it in the spirit world. That's the whole point of reincarnating.
That was my next question is what happens when we reincarnate?
So when we reincarnate, we are setting out with hopefully an expanded consciousness, an elevated awareness of
So our soul sort of met this next level and now it's like, let's go to the next level.
And let's do this because I realize where I got it wrong in the past lifetime lived, and I am ready to do and be better, to operate from light and not shadow, my higher self versus my ego self. And so your soul is inspired to bring more light into that situation. It's like a redo, okay? So that you can be your highest and best self and you can neutralize whatever that karma was between maybe it's you and another person or you and a certain experience.
When someone says, I had another life with that person and now we're back here to work more stuff out, what does that mean?
That means that one or both has regrets, guilt, shame, blame, whatever these lower frequencies are, that they are feeling unsettled with. It's unfinished business, okay? They're here to make things right by neutralizing it. So by bringing their highest level of consciousness to the table in that relationship. You know, people are our polishing stones.
Yeah.
You know, relationships, that is how we grow and evolve our souls. We sometimes do it alone between us and the divine, but the fastest way And the most common way is through relationships.
What if you're in a relationship that feels like a soul contract, but it's something where you have to fulfill for them? Like you're recognizing, oh, this isn't my lesson, this is theirs, but I'm here to help them. What do we do in that soul contract?
Well, so you recognize, that's when you realize, okay, I, in this situation, am showing up as the teacher.
Okay.
Okay. Or the guide.
Beautiful.
And sometimes it's your actual wisdom that comes to you and through you. You are there to share it with that person because that was the agreement you made before you were born. Okay. So we make these agreements and we say, hey, I'm going to show up in your life at this point to give you the opportunity to rise. Okay. To learn this lesson. And I'm going to do it directly as your teacher. Sometimes you're just teaching by example.
Mm-hmm.
You're being the light and you're showing somebody their potential because we're mirrors for each other.
Or you're moving through your healing, which gives someone else the opportunity to have the same experience, to borrow the benefits from you and then see what what the possibilities are for them.
That's right.
Could our children be soulmates?
Our children are usually soulmates. You know, soulmates, I think there's a big misconception. People think it's always romantic, and it's not. Our children, our parents, our best friends can be soulmates, but also partners. You know, romantic partners can be soulmates. So there's different types of soulmates.
What is a soulmate? Yeah.
So a soulmate is any soul that you, in your soul group, soul family, that you keep choosing to reincarnate with. Okay. And you play out different roles. So in some lifetimes, you might best serve as one's parent or child to accomplish the mission, the lesson that needs to be learned. And so we've played many different roles with many of our soulmates in thousands of lifetimes. Okay. And so we are here to help each other to grow and evolve. That is the whole point. And so when you have a connection with somebody and it's so strong and you cannot explain it, it's because they are a soulmate. Now there's different levels of soulmates, right? There's your primary, like, you know, live or die. And you just know that, you know, you have been together many, many lifetimes. There's other soulmates that are more temporary and they come in. Sometimes it's called a bump contract.
What's a bump contract?
A bump contract where somebody drops in and it's usually really intense and very short-lived. And so this goes back to what I'm hearing to say right now, reason, season, or lifetime. So people come into our life for a reason, and sometimes the reason is a bump contract. So I have had so many clients where they think they found the love of their life, and this person comes in hot and heavy, and it can be really real because it is, but then it falls out really fast. And it was there to wake them up. It's like a shake up to wake up.
Yeah.
Okay. It forces you to really learn a lesson.
Or to remember what that feeling is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it's a gift.
Yeah.
And it was never meant to stay for a lifetime.
Yeah.
And so when you can reframe it like that, you're not as attached.
It's a bump contract. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so
cool.
that's, falls under the category, this person showed up for a reason. There's a season. This is when we are going through a growth period.
Yep.
Okay. And you serve as each other's polishing stones. And you hopefully in that season find completion. Okay. And then at some point that relationship is done.
There's a lot in this that I find to be very heartwarming, because when we look at these relationships that were pure and amazing, but then they left, or they were difficult and just heart-wrenching and then they ended, instead of looking at them with rage or lacking forgiveness, we could say thank you to those relationships as part of the journey, as part of our soul contract.
We're able to get out of judgment, good, bad, right, wrong.
Yes.
The shame and blame frequencies. And that put us back into victim, by the way.
I think recognizing our soul contract actually does get us out of that shame and blame frequency completely, the right, the wrong, this, oh, woe is me, but puts us right back into this energy that's so fluid. It's this energy of, yeah, it's just sort of simple. It's like, this is what I was here to learn. This is what I'm here to grow with. This is the assignment that was presented to me. How can I show up for it? Where would you have me go? What can I do now?
Exactly.
It's a very different way of living.
It's so empowering because it allows you to expand, not contract.
Yeah.
Right? And when you expand, you are able to hold more light. Okay? This vessel is able to hold more light, which means we can show up in this world and be the light that we are here to be, to offer whatever it is, the blessings, the gifts that we are here, because we all have this potential, right? To show up and to be of service to those around us and to shine our light and spread more light. That is the ultimate goal.
Is there a collective, and this is an interesting question I'd love to hear your guides weigh in on, is there a collective soul contract happening now?
If you are in a body, you have agreed to be here on the planet at this time, you are a part of the universal soul contract. And that is to bring more love and more light onto the planet. And there are so many what we call light workers starting to remember that they signed up for this. And it's very pervasive, the darkness and the negativity and the fear-based frequencies on the planet. And so you can easily lose yourself and get fragmented. That's what we were talking about earlier. If you don't connect to the light and declare that you are here on divine mission to be one with that light. Okay? It's like walking into a dark room. You turn on the lights, darkness goes away. There is no darkness. And so it's really powerful when you can remember, wait a second, I chose this.
I chose this.
And I am here by divine design. And all is well, so long as I stay awake, out of illusion and delusion and confusion.
Right.
Right.
Actually, I think this is what this whole community that we have right here is here for. We have a community of light workers that remember, in whether you realize it or not right now, you have in some way have a recollection of your soul contract, which is to wake up and to be of service and to be the light. You wouldn't be watching all the way through to this point if you didn't have that experience right now.
100%.
They wouldn't be with us having that experience. This is why this Dear Guides conversation is such a timely momentum and movement, because it's here to wake you up and remind you that you're part of the solution and that we're all part of that collective soul contract, it sounds like, but then we have a choice in that soul contract. Are we going to wake up or are we going to stay asleep?
That's right. But it starts with our own contract, our personal contract, and then us doing the work to be in alignment with our soul self, our sovereign self, so that we then in turn can show up and pay it forward in service to others.
How can we know our own personal soul contract?
There's a lot of ways. We're going to do a guided meditation. Meditation's a great way because the truth is all the answers you need are inside of you.
That's right.
And so if you can find a way to quiet your mind and get out of your own way, you will tap into that truth of who you are and why you're here, your soul contract. So meditation is one way. Dreams, you can invite in your higher self and your team in spirit to help remind you. Okay. A lot of times dreams are great because the mind is quiet and out of the way, and it's easier sometimes to drop in. And sometimes it's just divine spirit, show me, remind me. And it may come through an external messenger. It could be somebody, giving you a reading who's the messenger to remind you. It could be, I have to share this. So she's about to be 10, but she's currently 9. My daughter, Haven, she's a miracle in and of itself, the way she came in. And I knew she was on an important mission. When she was about 3 years old, she said, your dad sent me to you.
Wow.
And then when she was a little older, maybe 4 or 5, she said, again, your dad sent me to you. And I reminded her just the other day of that. And she's like, does not remember. But she was being used as my earth angel, as a messenger. And she has taught me so much. She is such an advanced soul. And I learn from her every day the importance of joy and play and to be present.
Yeah.
Okay. Oftentimes external people, especially little kids, because they're so pure and their mind is not talking them out of the truth that drops in, can serve as messengers to help remind you of very important lessons, truth, soul contracts.
My son's always reminding me of the lessons and the truth. And I sometimes think about, I know what his soul brought me to practice for sure. And that's actually a nice way to sort of open up the dialogue with your soul to understand your soul contract, is just being in the curiosity and the inquiry of what is it that I'm here to learn? What is it that what is this relationship here to teach me? What is this experience here to give me? That can, the answer that is revealed intuitively or through experience is the soul contract ultimately,
Exactly.
right? There's a passage in one of Wayne Dyer's books where he talks about how his father, was an alcoholic and left his mother and was abusive, and that relationship was part of Wayne's soul contract to teach him self-reliance and forgiveness so that he could teach that on such a massive scale.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is how it works. Every opportunity holds the potential to expand us and our capabilities and our capacity. And so you recognize, I think a lot of us can look back and reflect on our lives and say, wow, thank you to that person who hurt you, betrayed you. Whatever it is, you can bless it because you see how it prepared you to be whatever it is you're supposed to be. Maybe it's a teacher, or
right, or it was the catalyst. It was the catalyst for your healing, for your growth and development.
Yes, that is
so this is huge. So looking at all the difficult relationships in your life, looking at all the difficult experiences in your life, this might be alarming. It might not be what you want to hear, but try this out. Look at those difficult moments, experiences, and relationships in your life and just say, thank you for putting me on the path to greater healing and evolution. And that feels really good.
Because that's your soul.
Yeah.
Right? And anytime it feels good and it feels aligned, that is your soul telling you that is truth.
This really interesting thing started happening to me, and I'd love to hear from you and your guides what this is. But lately I've been noticing this feeling of like, it's a sensation and it's also a visual that they're showing me, which is like, brrr, like all these sort of like pieces falling into place. Like, when when the domino just like falls perfectly, it's like, brrr, like they're just showing me like, it's just happening a lot in my mind's eye and also in her vision of just like this, da, 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 da. It all just sort of falls into, that's the only way I can describe it.
It's kind of a feeling.
It's a feeling.
And what I'm hearing your guides say is that is your soul saying, hey, remember that feeling, because this is to remind you you're in flow.
Yeah.
And when you're on your path, fulfilling your soul contract, it feels just like that.
Yeah.
Everything is falling into place with ease and grace.
That's right.
And there is a lot of peace that comes from that, right?
There's a lot of peace.
Yeah.
I have to say, I think at this moment in time, new moment, I'm actually in the grace of the soul contract. I think that there's been a push and pull. People might feel like they're fighting against their soul or know that there's a soul contract, but it feels like it's an uphill battle to fulfill.
Exactly. And that means that you are disconnected from your soul self and you're operating from our humanity, which we all do. But it's such a reminder to get back connected to your soul through what we were talking about earlier, just with intention.
Yeah.
I choose to be in alignment with my soul self, with the light, with love.
That's a perfect opportunity for you to connect us to our soul self, because I think that you said obviously through meditation is the way that we can remember. And in this meditation that I know you're going to guide us through, you can help us reconnect to our soul's choice, our soul journey, our soul path, and that contract, and our soul self as well. So I'm ready.
They are ready.
They are ready.
They are ready. And let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. I'm going to go in. I'm going deep in.
Okay. This is a good opportunity to just take a few slow, deep breaths. Breathing in, calling in this golden healing light, and releasing, exhaling, letting go. getting out of our heads, dropping into our hearts. Just imagine a golden healing light. This golden light is the frequency of love and truth. It's connecting us to Source, Divine Spirit. Just allow that golden light to pour down into our minds with an intention of clearing any and all mind chatter, any and all limiting beliefs, any negative thinking. We ask that this light purify, cleanse, clear, and release, returning us back to our soul self, our higher self, that divine light and love that we are. This golden light pouring from our heads now, down into our hearts, and really just allowing us to move into our heart, which is our center of intuition, our soul, our feelings acting as our guidance. And so just allow that golden light to open and expand your heart, breathing light into the heart center. And from this place, we're going to call in our team spirit, our angels and guides, higher beings of light, maybe some relatives on the other side. Invite in your team and ask that they be present with you as you start to open up to re-remembering your soul contract. And so just imagine yourself in this safe space. Whatever that space is for you, it allows you to feel divinely held, supported, protected. And as you relax into this space with your team of angels and guides around you, imagine one of your guides holding a book. And this book represents your book of life. And in this book of life holds your soul contract, the important lessons that you are here to learn, to teach, the karma you're here to heal and balance. And so this guide opens up this book, allowing you to remember what your soul has always known that maybe your mind has forgotten. And so now quietly ask, what is it I'm here to learn in this lifetime? What are the 1, 2, or 3 top life assignments, lessons that I signed up for? And so I want you to take a moment and just feel into that. Just allow whatever comes up for you. Maybe it's a thought, a word, a feeling, a knowing. Just allow it to organically surface. And now, I want you to ask, what is the most active soul contract for me right now? And as you just let this surface, maybe a visual of a relationship shows up or a situation you're in. There's no right or wrong answer. And just trust what comes up is exactly what you need to know right now. And finally, let's ask, what is it I need to know or do to move me onto my highest timeline to fulfill this soul contract in present time and space with ease and grace, so that I can live my heaven on earth? And so whatever it is that has come up for you, just offer gratitude. First, gratitude for yourself, for all of you, for showing up, being brave, trusting yourself. Offer gratitude to your team and spirit for their loving support and presence always with you. And now imagine this golden light from your heart shining out, creating this protective field around you. A golden bubble of light so that you can move forward, feeling safe, fully in your body, fully empowered, shining your light, being the brightest light. Your light is your worth. It's your divinity within you. And this light is part of your purpose to embody this light. So just remember, your soul always knows. And you are always guided. You are always held. So long as you connect to this light. And so feel this golden light from our hearts dropping down the rest of our body, coming all the way down our legs, coming out the soles of our feet. We ask for a grounding cord to anchor us back into this present time and space, into the earth, allowing us to be in our power, protected and held by this light, and fully showing up to our lives in our sovereignty. Take one more deep inhale. And release. And so it is.
I went deep.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of energy here.
Yeah, a lot.
And what I kept seeing behind you was the violet flame. Are you familiar with the violet flame?
What's the violet flame?
The violet flame it's this powerful transmuting energy.
Yeah.
It's very cleansing. Archangel Gabriel is very Gabriel, and very connected, but helping us today and helping you on your journey to communicate the truth that people need and are ready for. And so that violet light has the power to transmute all fear-based thinking that disconnects us. Okay. And so as I was doing that, I could see these angels like kind of clearing, because we all have a human self that sometimes self-sabotages or gets in our way. And so that is the importance of calling in our team spirit.
Yeah.
Right. To help us to align to the purity of our soul so that we can, consciously show up and be of service.
We can invite our team of spirit to help us fulfill our soul contract.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One more thing I'm feeling really strong to say is that journaling is a very, very effective tool for all of us to access our higher self so that we can remember on a soul level who we are, why we're here, our purpose. Okay? So instead of rushing to someone or something externally, perhaps if you're feeling called to do this, sit down and write.
I often will write at the top of a page, what would you have me learn from this? And that's obviously leaning into help me fulfill my soul contract, because that's all about the healing and the learning.
Yeah.
In the meditation, I kept hearing heal to heal, which was really about like keep healing yourself to heal. That was my soul contract, was to heal to heal.
Absolutely.
And, yeah.
We teach what we most need to learn and work on ourselves.
That's right. Yeah.
And so that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And that feels exactly like what it is you're doing with this Dear Guides.
With everything, right?
Yeah.
It's like keep healing myself to heal. And the other thing that something weird happened, but I've had a shoulder injury and like a rotator cuff thing, and they just pulled my arm out, and I think they were all working on my arm during the meditation.
That's the violet flame.
Okay.
That energy transmutes any pain, anything that is not in alignment with our whole self,
Yeah.
our healed self.
Can our physical body reveal contracts we need to heal?
Oh, 100%. The body keeps the score.
Yes.
The body knows before the mind is willing to accept.
Mm.
And so it's such a powerful tool when, if you're not going to listen to your guides and your higher self, your body is going to start talking to you.
I wonder what my shoulder is trying to teach me.
To not shoulder at all.
Ah! Ah!
Because what I'm hearing is you have taken your power back with getting really clear on who's a team player and who's not.
Yeah.
Who is going to show up and be in alignment with me and my mission?
Yeah.
Because what feels like was happening was, at the end of the day, it all fell on you.
Yeah.
And it's kind of that like shouldering the burden. And so it's amazing. I mean, this is all Louise Hay, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's listen to your body. And we want to listen when it's a whisper, not a loud roar, because we failed to get the wake-up call.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't have to come to that.
It's so interesting because I'm doing all this work physically to repair my shoulder. And it's such a metaphor for repairing the shouldering at all and repairing that for myself. It's very emotional as I say it. So when we're in our meditations, we're going to have these experiences where we feel like spirit might move us physically or bring attention to something physical, and that's part of the soul contract healing.
That's right. Because everything starts energetically and then over time it turns physical. So the dis-ease, we don't want it to get to the point it becomes a disease, okay, or a major injury or whatever the issue is. And so we want to listen, but we have to be still to know.
Yeah.
And that stillness comes through what we just did, taking a pause, going within. You can call it meditation and prayer, whatever you want to call it, but just asking, what is it I need to know or do right now to be in balance, in harmony, in flow, to move on to my highest timeline, right? To co-create my heaven.
Be still to know.
Be still to know.
Yeah. Yeah. So good. I love you. This is so fantastic. To close the show, Rebecca, how do we know when a soul contract's complete?
A soul contract feels complete when what once used to be all-consuming no longer is.
Ooh.
You feel a sense of peacefulness and neutrality, perhaps.
Okay.
In the relationship, in the situation. It's not triggering you.
Yeah.
It's
I'm so close, I think.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times also people confuse an ending of a soul contract as failure. And what my guides have reminded me of, it's not failure, it's completion.
Well, this was really amazing. I love you. This was fabulous. I love this conversation so much. I've linked to Rebecca's book, What's Your Heaven? This is her book that's all about soul contracts. You obviously are super interested in this content because you've made it to the end of this video. So don't miss out on this incredible book. Click the link below the video or head to the description because all the details for her book are there. That would be the next level of this conversation. So go check out What's Your Heaven. As always, I have my gifts for you and I love to give you guys guided meditations. This is the free meditation to connect to your spirit guides. I've added the link in the description and you can also go to deargabby.com/spirit guides. And for all my Gabby coaching members, you already have this in your app. So get in there and enjoy all that you have with your 21-day Trust the Universe challenge. Enjoy your 21-day abundance challenge. Everything is there in your app, alongside this beautiful meditation and many others. If you're not a Gabby coaching member, the details are again at the description and you can go to deargabby.com/app where I can coach you, be your spiritual coach throughout the year. If you are loving these Dear Guides episodes, I'm going to invite you to make sure you're part of this community. I want you to subscribe to this channel. Remember that this is a movement of light workers, that if you've made it to this point in the video, you are definitely signing up in this soul contract in this lifetime to be a light worker, to share your light, to be an expression of the divine. I'm grateful that you've made it to the end. I'm grateful that you're part of this community. And I love you. I love you and I'm so proud of you. So stick around for the miracles. If you liked this video, you're going to love my video with Sean Leonard on spirit animals. So check it out right here.